You're making good money, better than most people you grew up with. You hit that salary you once thought would fix everything. And yet, somehow you still feel broke. Not can't pay rent broke, but where did it all go broke? Another month, nothing left broke. If that sounds familiar, stay with me. Because what's happening to you isn't a discipline problem. It's not a math problem. And it's definitely not just you. It's a trap. And almost everyone walks straight into it without even realizing it. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly why smart, hardworking people with genuinely good salaries still feel financially stuck, and the three invisible forces quietly draining your income. Once you see them, you won't be able to unsee them. Start with something that should genuinely shock you. According to a 2025 Lending Club study, 44% of Americans earning over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. Nearly half. Think about that. These are not careless people. These are lawyers, engineers, managers, business owners, people who did everything right. And still, they're one bad month away from real stress. So what's actually going on? Force number one, the treadmill you didn't know you were on. Here's how it usually starts. You get a raise. You feel relief. You think, finally, things will be easier now. But then something subtle happens. Your life gets more expensive. Not overnight, not dramatically, just slowly, quietly. The apartment that once felt fine now feels small. The car that worked perfectly suddenly feels outdated. The trips you used to enjoy start to feel basic. And here's the dangerous part. It doesn't feel like overspending. It feels like progress. Because in your mind, you've earned it. But this is where the trap tightens. Economists call it lifestyle creep. And it's incredibly deceptive, because nothing feels like a bad decision. Every upgrade feels justified. But behind the scenes, something else is happening. Your baseline is shifting. What used to feel like a luxury quietly becomes a necessity. And once something feels like a need, it no longer feels optional. This is called hedonic adaptation. Your brain gets used to better fast. The new car, normal in a few weeks. The nicer apartment, just your apartment. The excitement, gone. But the cost, that stays. So you push harder, you earn more, and somehow you feel exactly the same. Let me make this real for you. Imagine someone starting out at $80,000 a year. They save 5%, about $4,000. A few years later, they're making $180,000. Big jump, huge effort, and yet they're still saving 5%. On paper, that's $9,000. Looks great, but here's what actually happened. A car payment added $400 a month. The new apartment added $1,200 more. Trips got more expensive. Daily life upgraded. And just like that, the extra income disappeared before it had a chance to matter. In fact, after debts and new expenses, they might actually be worse off than before. Working harder, earning more, feeling no richer. Now here's the part most people never think about. Force number two, the hidden tax nobody talks about. Everyone talks about income tax. Almost no one talks about the other taxes, the invisible ones. Because as your income rises, so does the cost of just living a successful life. Think about it. Housing in high opportunity areas skyrocketing. Healthcare rising year after year. Childcare, thousands every month for some families. Student loans still quietly draining income well into your 30s. And here's the catch. These aren't luxuries. These are the baseline costs of being a working professional today. Even if your habits didn't change at all, you're still paying more. So yes, your salary increased, but the cost of maintaining that life, it increased faster. And this is where it gets even more frustrating, because the good salary of today is not the same good salary people imagine in their heads. 30 years ago, $100,000 sounded elite. It sounded untouchable. It sounded like you'd made it. Today, after inflation and after the massive rise in housing, education, and healthcare, that same number lands a lot closer to stressed middle class than rich. That's the part no one tells you. People compare modern salaries to old expectations, but they forget the system changed. The dollar got weaker. Housing ran away. College got brutally expensive. Healthcare kept climbing. So when people say you make six figures, how are you still struggling? They're often comparing today's paycheck to a world that doesn't exist anymore. And that matters, because sometimes it really isn't that you're doing everything wrong. Sometimes the game itself got harder. The salary is bigger, but the buying power isn't. And once you see that, a lot of the guilt starts to make more sense. But, and this part matters, you still have to play the hand you're dealt. You can be frustrated by the system and still be smart inside it. You can admit the rules changed without giving up your moves. Because whether the game is fair or not, your money still needs a plan. And this is where most advice gets it wrong. It's not your coffee. It's never was. It's your rent, your car, your subscriptions, your fixed monthly commitments. That's where real money disappears. Fix those and everything else becomes easier. And now we get to the most powerful force of all. Force number 3, the mind game you're losing without realizing it. This one is uncomfortable, but it explains everything. There's something called the Easterlin paradox. In simple terms, it says that after a certain point, more money doesn't actually make you feel better. Why? Because you don't measure your life in absolute terms. You measure it in comparison to your past, to your peers, to what you see online. And this is where it gets dangerous, because the goalpost never stays still. You hit 80K and suddenly 100K feels like the real target. You hit 100 figures and now you're comparing yourselves to people making double that. There's always someone ahead, always something bigger. And social media, that amplifies this to an extreme. You see the vacations, but not the debt behind them. The new car, but the monthly payments. The lifestyle, but not the pressure holding it together. So, without realizing it, you're comparing your real life to a curated illusion. And of course you feel behind. Anyone would. So what do you actually do about it? Here's where things shift. Not complicated, not extreme, but powerful if you actually apply them. First, capture your income before your lifestyle does. Every time you earn more, move a portion of that increase automatically into savings or investments before you can touch it. Because if you see it, you'll spend it. If you don't, your life won't adjust to it. Second, focus on the big leaks, not the small ones. It's not your coffee. It never was. It's your rent, your car, your subscriptions, your fixed monthly commitments. That's where real money disappears. Fix those and everything else becomes easier. And third, this one matters most. Redefine what doing well actually means. Because right now, most people define it by how their life looks, not how it's built. Someone spending everything they earn can look successful and still be fragile. Someone building assets quietly can look average and be financially strong. The difference? One is temporary. The other is real. Here's the truth. The reason you feel broke on a good salary isn't because you failed. It's because you were never shown the full picture. Lifestyle inflation keeps matching your income. Costs keep rising in the background. And comparison keeps convincing you it's not enough, all at the same time. But now you can see it. And once you see it, you can change how you play the game. Because the goal isn't to stop enjoying your life. It's to make sure your money is building something underneath it, something stable, something real, so that one bad month doesn't take everything down with it. If this made you stop and think, even for a second, send it to someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper, I've linked a full breakdown showing exactly how to calculate your own lifestyle creep number. Let's build something that actually lasts.